Welcome back, and if you've clicked on this review, you have found your way to my channel. And this is my Stranger Things Season 4, Episode 5 TV review slash recap. First, I'm a blind film critic, so congratulations on finding me. Sort of like finding that needle in a haystack. Stumbled upon that. And second, I'm going to break down this episode. We're going to talk a little bit about the audio description, and I'm going to give it a grade. That's how this is going to work. But also, I consider everything that happened in a previous episode to be fair game to talk about. I'll try to keep the spoilers to a minimum here as far as episode 5. I haven't seen anything beyond 5 as of this taping, so I don't know what the future holds. All right, so in this episode, a couple of things are going on. Well, the California gang, Will, Mike, and Jonathan, and Argyle are trying to speed out after being attacked by, I don't know, obviously some government agency. That answer is given to you in this episode, but I said I was going to give spoilers. But yeah, some crazy shit happened at the end of that episode, and luckily they had ordered a pizza from Argyle. It's funny how things just magically happen like that, right? So it just sort of deals with them, and they're figuring out, I guess, how to get back to Hawkins and how to alert 11. And really how to be useful this season, actually, probably more than anything. I feel like, I haven't seen the rest of the season, but I kind of feel like Argyle's going to get back to Hawkins immediately and just die. Because new characters are just not happening this season. And Argyle is just not smart enough to survive. I'm just going to say that right now. If he does die later on and I correctly predicted it, it's just me predicting it. There's so many times in this episode where he's like, what? Oh, what's going on? And I'm like, this character, if he survives, if this character comes back for season 5, I'll be shocked. But he seems destined to be killed by something. I don't know what, a raccoon maybe. I feel like it wouldn't be that hard. So that's what we focus on there. And then we jump around. We got Hopper. They're really, really pissed off at him because he tried to escape in the last episode, and they got that guard and they threw him in jail too. And now he's in with the prisoners. Funny thing that the other prisoners haven't just straight up killed him. You would think that with him being an ex-guard who used to be mean to him, his lifespan would be really short in that jail. But I guess they need him alive to keep the story going. But that was one of my things. I was like, dude, you don't put the guard from a prison in as a prisoner with the prisoners he was just guarding. Like, come on now. Like, even in Russia, even in like a situation like that, that dude wouldn't be alive for 10 seconds. Something would kill him. He would not be around long enough to have any sort of conversations or be remotely useful to the story. I don't know why he's around, but that's what Hopper's doing. I guess maybe one day Hopper will rejoin the story, but fuck it, right? I guess everybody was just so worried about, oh my god, did Hopper die? They're like, we weren't planning on using him, I guess. I guess we could just keep him alive somewhere else. People aren't asking for him to actually participate. They just want him to be alive. So we'll give them their wish and make them regret it at the same time. So Hopper's alive and he's just having a terrible time. Thanks, Stranger Things fans. Couldn't just let the dude die hero. Now he has to have, the living shit beat out of him all the time. Anyway, so that's where that little storyline's going on, and we advance through that. Meanwhile, Yuri is trying to collect that bounty money, so he's trying to get Joyce and what's his face over to turn them in because he thinks they're Russian spies. Um, and some stuff happens in that regard, and we're left on sort of a cliffhanger of sorts. And Murray, I always just sort of assumed was a nerdy dude. I don't know how he turns into useful in this thing, but he apparently has a particular set of skills that he's acquired over a long period. We're always going to quote Liam Neeson. And so that's what's happening there. Yuri brings up the peanut butter thing, why there was so much peanut butter when Hopper went into that church. He's like, like peanut butter over here I can get for like $1.10, and I take it over there and I sell it for 20. I make huge profit because it's illegal. And I'm like, cool, dude. I hope that's useful to the story. Thanks. So he's doing Yuri's being Yuri. 11 has been brought to the facility where a familiar face greets. She's there with Paul Reiser, Dr. Paul Reiser. And there's another familiar face. That's not the familiar face, but I won't spoil it. There's an oh my god reveal that they want you to be like blown away. And I'm like, dude, there are kids being lifted into the air and their eyes are being ripped back into their skulls and their jaw. Like, this is not. I know you wanted that to be surprising. I was just kind of like, oh. I feel like this season I was just kind of like, oh, all right. I guess. Anyway, I just didn't care about that storyline. But, everybody's like super invested in getting 11 her powers back so she can fight this thing. Meanwhile, the main group that is actually trying to fight the thing that's stuck out there, they're worried about Max because they almost lost her. Luckily, they figured out that Kate Bush fights evil, and if you put Kate Bush on Max won't die. So they're saving her with the power of Kate Bush, which, as everybody has noticed, has skyrocketed Kate Bush to the top of the charts. She's never been more popular. So that shows you the power of Stranger Things. Congratulations, audience. We've won. So Kate Bush is super popular again. Yeah, that was nuts. I was like, if they kill off Max, I swear to God, I couldn't talk about it because I don't talk about spoilers of current episodes. But in this episode, you've got, the gang that's trying to keep her alive, they're continuing to investigate with the information that they've been given. That's what I'll say. They go to the house that we saw in the flashback. That is sort of their thing. I don't think that's really a spoiler. That's their main goal for this thing, is to go to this dude's house. I mean, did you think they weren't going to? I mean, that's what Nancy and Robin, they went out to visit Robert Englund and talk to him, and then he told them about the house that he inherited. So, of course, they were going to go check the fucking house out, right? I mean, that's what did you think was going to happen in episode 5? They were going to be like, we heard about this house. Nah, we don't have the budget for that. We're not going to go to this house. So, yeah, of course, they go check out the house with Steve, who has been just probably of all of the characters, probably the least useful. We're waiting to give Steve something to do other than stand around and and hang out with people. Everybody else, I feel like, has achieved something, some purpose this season, something. Jonathan's running a close second to Steve. I know, like, the fans of Jonathan were like in an uproar But I kind of feel like Steve isn't doing anything. Maybe Steve in the upcoming episodes is given purpose and Jonathan isn't. I don't know. Maybe that's why Jonathan fans are all like, oh my God, Jonathan. It's like, I don't know. Jonathan was given Argyle. I guess that's his purpose in life, is to introduce a stoner into the series. Hopefully the stoner will be useful. But I'm going to guess not. I'm going to guess his whole usefulness has already run out. He had a van. That's what made him useful. And yeah, so they go to Robert Englund's house and investigate in a way that would make the House on Haunted Hill people very proud. So this episode definitely slows down a little bit. Oh, I should say, Jason and the basketball team from hell is still out there trying to find Eddie. And Eddie is like, he's trying to like DoorDash some beer. he's calling and he's like, really, guys, could you just bring me like a 6-pack? I just really make this so much better for me. And it's like, I want to like you. I do. I really do. I really want to like you, but do you not understand the gravity? Have you forgotten the gravity of your situation? Like, anyway, Zac Efron on Zac Efron's High School Musical, if he was evil character, is taking the basketball team, and they think they know where Eddie is this time, and Eddie's getting a little nervous, and he doesn't have beer, so that's what else is going on. Oh, and I won't. This might spoil something, but I'm gonna tell this. Maybe is intentionally spoiling something, but I will leave it at exactly the way I'm going to say it. I will tell you that one of Jason's basketball player friends, he gets a name. And that's your hint. We learn one of their names. There you go. That's all I'm going to say. Someone gets a name this episode. Do with that information as you will. Yeah, so this episode was, it felt to me like, okay, so we've had like some really nuts episodes, right? Like the last episode was so good with Max and everything. And this episode actually somehow managed to balance checking in on everyone, which was really hard to do. It was the same length as episode 5. It was like a little under an hour and 20 minutes. So we managed to check in on everybody, and there was a little bit of action. There's a little bit of scares, a little bit of gore. It's not quite as insane as some of the other episodes. It doesn't quite leave you in the holy shit lurch like some of the episodes have. But there are some moments in it, but it definitely furthers the story. So it has a mixture of actually being an action-packed episode while also furthering the story for every character. So it's what I wanted from episode 3 but didn't fully get. Episode 3 was the only episode so far that I gave an A- to, because it only furthered the story. I said it was like moving chess pieces around on a board. This feels like it was moving chess pieces, but also some attacks were made. You know what I'm saying? Like, it managed to do actually some interesting things while moving the chess pieces around. It wasn't just like hinging on that little ending with revealing that Max was next, you know? I mean, like, that was literally the coolest thing that happened in episode 3. Everything else was just exposition. So, this one, aside from the fact that I totally disagree with the writers of the show that prison guard would be alive in prison. I don't care which prison he's in which country, somebody would have murdered him. Prison guards just don't, in the same prison, like everybody doesn't know he's a guard. No, I'm sorry. He would need to be in solitary confinement if you want to keep him alive. Someone will murder him. Uh, but that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Um, Other than that, I love the episode. I thought it was great. It manages to touch base with everybody, and everybody has some action. Everybody does something, really, except Jonathan and Steve. And we're doing good. We're checking in. As far as audio description, I thought the audio description was really well. Trying to keep it also low spoilery here. I will say that 11 has some stuff when she's trying to like figure out how to get her powers back that's very trippy and sort of crazy and nuts and really well described. When they're going through Freddy Krueger's house, and that's not a fun place to be. And we get a lot of audio description there. There's a little scene with the spider and Dustin and the spider, and that was nice described. And Patrick. Yep. Just gonna say Patrick. And Patrick. So we had some cool times for the audio description to really shine. And I thought it did a good job. So, yeah, thanks to Tandy Alexander and her team that put together this audio description. So, I am going to give this episode of Stranger Things an A. So that's 4 out of 5 A's so far for the episodes this season. I'm really consistent. I'm really happy with this season. One of my friends on Facebook posted that this was his least favorite season. I was just like, what? Like, what? 2? Go back and watch season 2 and then come back to season 4 and we'll talk. Yeah, so I'm hoping you're liking it and liking these recap reviews. Throw me a like and a subscribe if you're new to my channel. And you can check out my website, macthemovieguy.com. Go to the audio description project to find out what has audio description and where it is, and use the adna.org to check out the narrators, or go to search something and see who narrates it. It is user updated, not industry updated, so it's not complete, but it's got a lot of information there. So, and if you know of any information, you can feel free to submit it and help make it more complete than it already is. So, there you go. That's my review, and I will see you in a couple of days when I drop episode 6. You know, I got a couple shows in between now and then, so you may not see episode 6 for a hot minute. I've got Boys episode 3. We've got Obi-Wan episode 4. I am going to start recapping Miss Marvel, and that drops tomorrow. So, yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot happening. So I don't know when I'm going to get to episode 6. At some point, I know there's a 2.5 hour episode. I've been told that. So that's going to take me a minute. If it's episode 6, it's going to take me a minute. So, until then, the 80s were a great time.